around it.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our council meeting. We have a little special council meeting today, and it's also our meeting of the whole. So first, would you please take roll call?
Councilmember Gray.
Here.
Councilmember Schmidt.
Here.
Councilmember Dietrich.
Here.
Councilmember Pointer.
Here.
Councilmember Sherburne.
Here.
All right. So first, we're going to swear in. Yes? Is that okay?
Approve the salary.
We'll do this, prove that first. Okay, I wasn't sure which one we could do first. Okay. All right, so first, special meeting agenda item is item 3.01. I need a motion to approve the salary resolution for a new police officer.
And it also sets the annual
And
salary.
it sets the annual salaries, yes. So with that, I'll ask for a motion to approve that.
Make a motion to approve.
Also,
Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none. Joe?
Yes.
Mary Ann?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
And Bill?
Yes.
Okay, and so that is everybody here? Your
Yep.
whole family's here? I didn't want to do it before.
Yeah.
Some more people just walked in. Are they? They look like they might be related.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you want to come up here, we'll get you sworn in. I'm gonna ask you guys to
Move again.
move again. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Josh, so we have to see you again. Yeah. All right, are you guys all in a spot where you can see? Oh, awesome. I'm gonna have you raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Okay.
I, Joshua McCraney,
I, Joshua McCraney,
I said that correctly, do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and that of the state of Iowa,
and that of the state of Iowa,
and that to the best of my knowledge
and to the best of my knowledge
and ability,
and ability,
I will perform all the duties of the police officer
will perform all the duties of a police officer
for the said city of Manchester, Iowa.
for the said city of Manchester, Iowa.
Congratulations, that's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right. I work for doctors and that's what I write like now. And you get to keep that.
Oh,
City Manchester.
thank you.
All right. Now, is anybody who'd like to take some pictures with him here before we do anything? Well, I think we should get some pictures of him. Yeah, do I get some pictures of the family and so forth? Okay, awesome.
Get rid of Joe's pure tea, you know, sitting up there.
Okay, if you want to come on up here, go ahead.
Feel free, everybody.
Yeah, okay. Turn it all strategically, that way the camera every time it's on. Ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, both.
Do you need him to go back? No.
Okay, good. Is your mom?
Yes.
So proud of you.
Proud.
Very good.
Anybody else?
Then,
Get one with the chief and Connie.
Okay.
What's that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you all.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you. Very excited.
Joshua, you want to tell them where you're all from?
I'm originally born and raised in Waterloo. I went to Hudson High School, graduated class of 2009. Went into the US military, was in the Navy. Got out of that, worked a couple different jobs, just got out of there. I worked at the Halo nuclear plant, I was an armed officer out there. Kind of fun and exciting when you're, you know, young kid at a nuclear plant, kind of learn some fun things. Then after that, I worked some security for ASIP, which is the Army Aerial Support Center in Waterloo. Did that, and then I decided to, you know, work in security and, you know, military. I decided to jump into police work and love it ever since, so.
Okay, awesome. You're welcome aboard.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you,
very
Doug.
much.
for taking pictures.
Thank you.
And we want to give a special thank you to Allison tonight. She's manning the Zoom for us. And we're sending our condolences to Tim Vick and his family. He lost his mother over the weekend, so our condolences to them.
Okay, next before us, we have resolution 60. It's a resolution setting the salary of an employee of the city of Manchester. I've given you some additional information in there. The computer's locked. There it's me. All right. This is setting a salary for the city manager.
This mayor would be the 490 bi-weekly rate would be
The 6%.
the 6%,
I believe so, yes.
which originally the other committee, personnel committee was thinking of 7, correct?
And they came back to the table and talked about it and, yeah. They came up with this, but then we had some disagreement on it, so I said we just leave it to the council to decide what they wanted to do moving forward.
It's funny, he still will be lower than some towns even, yeah. You know, you just hope you don't ever place somebody and then start looking at that 149 figure, which will make a hell of a jump down the road. With that, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we do position of Tim Dick, city manager, for a bi-weekly rate of 4934.34 bi-weekly rate.
Do I hear a second? We can open it up for further discussion if we need to afterwards.
Okay, I'll second, so that we can open for discussion.
Is there any further discussion?
Yeah. I was on the personnel committee. I personally believe that Tim deserves the 7.4% raise. I believe that he's doing a great job. We had looked at this previously in the personnel, and we felt that this was a fair amount for him to get. We went down to the 6% as a
Compromise.
thank you, as a compromise, okay? But since that compromise has been broken, I personally would like to go up to the 7.4% again.
I'm against that, I can rescind it. Rescind my motion.
Would we need to, would Joe have to resend too then, or?
Mary Ann seconded.
Oh, she seconded? Okay, so you would have to resend yours then too.
I have a comment.
Okay.
I thought the original increase was too much, and when we got together to talk about it again, I kind of got, like, I was between a rock and a hard place, and I could not negotiate to go any lower, so I am not for the 6 or the 7.4% increase, so
You wanted to do 5.
yeah, I wouldn't do 5.
I'm at 6 myself.
Well, personally, the way that I look at things, I guess anybody that really truly knows me would know exactly how I look at this. I personally don't think the 7.4% is even enough. The reason I say that is when we go to replace our city manager, we're gonna have to find somebody that's gonna do the job, that's gonna be willing to not get pay raises apparently. If we continue to go the path we go. Just sit here and look at Dyersville and Independence, which are neighboring cities of similar size, and they're even still at 7%. We're not gonna even be touching what they're paying their city managers. Owine pays their city manager more than we pay our city manager. That kind of stuff just doesn't sit well with me. I know how hard it is to find good help. Just about anything you do in life, so when we go look at a city manager, we can't just take anybody off the street. We gotta find somebody that's gonna be able to fill the shoes that Tim's gonna be leaving at some point. But this isn't just the decision we're making for just Tim for now. This is a decision we make for our future city managers. Future of the entire city, so. But at 7.4% is where the consensus seemed to be strongly before. I would be fine with getting at least that much for Tim.
From my understanding is he's always got the
He's always-
normal, he's always
Yes.
gotten the normal 3%.
What everybody else gets.
Whatever.
Correct, Aaron,
So
yes.
we're only, this is just above and beyond
Right,
the normal.
Right.
So I just want to clarify that.
Right.
He's always got a raise.
Yeah.
You know, he's never not got a raise.
Right.
Okay.
But at the 3% comparing to what the other city managers are getting paid, I'm very, very scared, I guess would be the word I use. Of the fact that we're setting ourselves up to put us in another water and sewer garbage rate situation where we're playing catch up again. And if we're playing catch up and we're looking for a good quality employee for that position, I'm nervous that we're not gonna be able to find that person.
If we're looking for a new city manager, we can always change the rate of pay. I mean, what it says on paper, we can always change that, Joe. So we're not
Right.
cemented into that.
Right.
And I think the city guys work awfully hard. And maybe they should actually get a little bit more of a 3% increase too. If you think about it, and they are out there sweating and working hard in cold and the heat. And they get a piddly 3, or maybe next year you guys should think about.
we have adjusted those also.
Okay, because
And we
They
can
look
always
awfully
do an
hard.
increase if the council wants
We haven't
to.
done that.
And a wage study to find out where,
Tim's actually working with, he's been
He's trying to
talking
get some proposals that are
Yes.
reasonable.
that work for making a wage matrix.
Right.
We've been talking about that for a couple of years.
Yeah, and-
Yes,
I do want to just clarify
absolutely.
that he's not getting the 3% plus 7.4%. If that's the route the council goes, he would just be getting the 6 or 7.4. It wouldn't be 3% plus 6. or
Right,
5%
right.
plus.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I just
honestly,
wanna make sure it's clear.
Clear the air that,
Yeah,
you know,
Yeah.
it sounded like he's been not getting raises. No, that's not true.
That's
He
not
has
true.
been getting raises.
I just didn't want anybody to think he was getting 10.
Yeah, yeah.
I initially thought he wasn't getting any raises from a first personnel meeting.
Yeah, and I clarified
To
that with
clarify it after us, so.
how I explained it. It didn't come across the way I explained it,
No,
so,
yeah.
and I wanted to tell her how she said it.
Yeah.
Is what I said, but not sure that understood what I meant, so,
Correct.
yeah.
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 So I will not vote for 7.4% increase, Joe.
You're talking about replacing Tim. My take on this is he's worth it.
yeah.
He's worth it.
Oh,
Not,
definitely.
not who we replace him with,
Right.
but he personally is worth it. I've seen him work with the staff. I've seen him make big decisions.
Yep.
I've worked with him for a long time. He has my full support. And I believe Tim Beck is worth more than that. But he's definitely worth the 7.4% increase. That's mine.
And
I just want to say that as opposed to
Right.
anybody thinking, oh, we're just doing this so we can rehire, because that's not. what-
No, no. And I'm hoping that Tim's still got quite a bit of time left in the tank, you know, to, continue to work for the city. I know that the 18 months that I've been a city councilman, I've leaned on Tim very heavily. And he's always been able to find an unbiased answer to give to me. It's right, it's the truth. He doesn't mislead me or anything like that. And when you have a tool like that to teach council members that are coming in the future and continue to teach me as we're going, I mean, I definitely believe that he's worth every penny of what we're discussing. There's not a doubt about that. I do understand that 7.4% seems like a big jump, but we're behind. I mean,
And if you look at all the things he's done in the last couple of years with the new subdivision. I mean, Oakview subdivision's almost full, except for now we're talking about doing the new phase.
mhm.
You know, Schulte's out there, Joe's out there. Joe's other part that he finished up over there, I mean, to control budget time when it comes time to setting up, and I know Aaron does a ton of that also. And to look at the TIP programs, the different programs that are available to all the builders that are out there, that means a ton, so. Mayor, with that, I'm going to rescind my motion for the thing. And I would like to propose a new motion for the 7.4% raise. Am I saying that right?
Is that correct? Yes, I
Okay,
believe
I
so.
rescind my second, but I second his new motion.
Any further discussion?
I just also wanted to be known that, I don't think that we stop here with Tim. I get everybody wants us to cut the spending. I do understand that 100%. And I know how you do that. But at the end of the day, you still have to have good employees to run such a great city in which we live in. So hopefully Jim will be able to get what he needs figured out so we can look at not just his pay, but everybody's pay inside of the city, so.
I know that he's been looking at that to make it easier for, as people retire and filling with different positions and a good way to have job descriptions that line up with the salaries that go along with them and
Right.
things that change or we merge, we pull apart, you know, those kinds of things. So, that's been a big discussion lately, so.
And the other thing is that I don't fully understand. Tim's not ever enlightened me to let me know what it's like with the stress in his position to have to know every state code that's coming down. To be able to see how that's gonna work with ours and keep all of our stuff together. It just everything that Tim's doing. And what a city manager does for us, and now he's running the police department. And it's just. It's time to pay the man what he's worth, and I think that 7.4% is a good start.
I would say I don't know anybody who you can ask a question about this city and get the answer without them saying, just a minute, I have to go look this up.
Right.
Tim always knows
Yeah.
immediately. Does not matter what I ask him, which department I'm talking about or whatever, he has the knowledge. He's got.
Well,
it
that
all.
really is his job to know that stuff. You know, so
I
I
understand.
don't think a lot
I
of it is
understand,
above
but
and
boy, I
beyond
couldn't keep all those numbers.
someone new.
He's got a good staff support.
It is.
Yes,
He's got a
very
phenomenal
well,
staff.
very
We're
lucky.
lucky. We're very lucky.
We got an amazing staff here at the city of Manchester, there's no doubt about that.
Okay, with that, is there any further discussion? Bill,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes,
Linda? No. Brian?
I vote yes, only for the fact that it's gonna pass. I was stuck on the 6. I'm still stuck on the 6.
But you
But,
can-
I will vote yes.
Okay,
Yes.
Joe, yes, okay. Thank you, everybody. Okay, next, we have our committee of whole agenda. And the first item here is we're gonna talk about the street resurfacing request by Mark Fink. And Mark is here. Did you want to talk to this at all, Mark, or add any more?
you have some questions?
Yeah, yeah, I think the council had some questions, I think the last time, or. Which my thing is, my computer is not moving very quickly here.
I know, I had a hard time logging into mine, so.
You know, there it is, it finally came up, there we go. Yeah, we had, so, you had the bid here, and I know that you've been, talking with some of the city council, I think you talked to some of the city council too outside of this, is that correct? Yeah, okay. And, I don't know, I thought some questions came up the last meeting when we talked about this, and we said that Mark wasn't here for us to ask the questions. I don't remember what those questions were, to be quite honest.
Well, part of it was easement,
The easement.
and, I think Ryan let us know that, there was some question about some easement up there. And, that's, you and I kind of brought back the fact that we'd like to see this possibly get done and then incorporate, getting the easements part of it all taken care of as well, so.
What we mean by that, Mark, is we would like to see the easement go down the center of the road. Or down the road. Rather than off into a yard. That it just, cause that property next door to you is not yours that easement runs into, correct? Or does it still all stay in your property? No, it's not mine. So right now we have an easement in a street over top of a water line or sewer line, but then that varies off of the road. And now it's not truly controlled by us anymore. So what when we were discussing some of the stuff and I've kind of been talking to quite a few people to kind of figure out how do you fix that, more or less, is getting that easement straightened out, cause like right now, if a water main break or whatever, it's sewer or is it water? Both, so if it breaks right now, it's on private property, we don't have an easement, does that landowner technically have to let that person on that property, the city on the property fix it? That's a big question for me, so at that point in time, if you or your neighbor hate us for some reason and don't wanna let us on there to fix that water main, can we force you? I don't think we can.
I thought there was an easement through there, wasn't there?
There is an easement, but your water main's not on the easement. Right.
Oh, water main.
There is no easement for this 23rd.
And when this was all put in was what, 1970?
Storm sewer was 70, and I'm not sure the water main.
Back when Jesus was a baby, when there was water.
Before me. I don't know. Appalachia gave the Strawberry Point put it in. I don't remember when they did it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Must have been a little one.
Yeah, it was.
And I can't believe even when they would have did it back then. That something wouldn't have been posted or written or something you would have back then. Before my time, before I really moved into town, I don't know.
So we still currently don't have an easement for the sewer portion, you said?
Storm sewer.
Storm sewer, yeah.
So back, as it changed, what we found is as it's changed ownership over the years,
Mm-hmm,
the person, I think 2 owners ago,
mm-hmm,
it's been quite a few years ago, when they extended it to where it's at,
mm-hmm.
there was kind of an old dirt road down through there, and the guy that had that point, it was probably just a good old boy thing, because I think there was an easement in the place at that time. But it was, he's like, well, I don't want it there, I want it, flip it over here, the contractor put it over there, and nothing ever got.
On a
changed.
handshake.
It was just, yeah, like
On a
some of those
handshake.
type of things that, hey, it's mine, I don't care, just, it's all mine, just flip it over here, and it probably just never got addressed, is my guess of how that went down. And, because it was all kind of a private development back there at that
Gotcha.
point, and there's a lot of history back there of another person keeping like 1 foot of along the road to be able to plow back there, and we did find that language that says that we have to maintain
Mm-hmm.
plow, basically
Right.
plow all the way back to, it was, can't think of that gal's name that was back there now, but anyway, Pam, Duncan, yeah.
Yeah, oh, okay.
We plowed back to there, and then there was an original thing in there before the owners blacktop that we were to maintain, the gravel road back there. So there's just a lot of history back there that's just none of it ever really added up to what,
And it doesn't have like a development plan or anything back there, correct? For additional housing or anything
Sure, our
back there?
forefathers, that was their plan, that would be some sort of a development subdivision, that would be my guess.
At one time.
yeah.
Not right now, there's not, but we bought that neighbor so we can do it. We want to, if we were landlocked, we couldn't get the line street.
Gotcha.
That was the reason we bought that from her, so now I have access to the street, so if
Mm-hmm,
that's what you wanna do, decide I wanna do something, I can do it without
mm-hmm,
going on somebody else's property now.
okay.
So can these easements be fixed or changed so the street can get?
Do you know what the process is for that, Erin?
I think,
Well, I almost wonder, Jason and I were talking about it earlier, if we need to get that whole area kind of surveyed, so we know where things lay out specifically. And then, because I'm gonna need legals for easements as well, if we're doing easements, correct, engineers?
Yeah, it'll need to be an exhibit that the attorney can attach to.
Yeah.
Probably be best to do legal.
Yeah, so. I mean, do you think a survey would be beneficial
You could
for
find
that
it,
area?
you get it nailed down, and I don't know, I know Ryan and Adam know more specifics and have talked to somebody about some of that stuff, but.
yeah, Ryan was at the last meeting.
I know there's also been discussion on just vacating it,
Mhm.
but I don't know. What the
We've
council's
had
thoughts are on
bad experiences with vacating things. And I don't know if Bill remembers and Mary Ann remembers some vacating things that we
Maybe
maybe.
they have an issue up by the hospital someplace. or
Behind, Stevens.
Oh, Well, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, and
And I think there was another one, maybe it was at the hospital, I can't remember what the other one was.
There was one, I think, south of the hospital someplace. They did. that
Yeah.
in there one time.
Well, and just, yeah, because you lock yourself into, if other things happen in the future that we're not ready for, so. So it's better to protect the city for, if, like you said, to get to the sewer and we have to do some things. Because if we tear that up, I mean. It could affect everybody who's getting access to it, so. And just to work with each other, I mean, we want to have a working relationship too.
So I know we can't take a vote now or anything, but I really think it makes sense to find out what we're talking about before we go on. Because at this point, we're pointing things and saying, oh, it's over there, and oh, it's over there, and it's over here, I'm sorry, I can't make a reasonable decision without seeing what it is that I'm making a decision on. So I would need to see a survey, need to see something
so what we can
in
do
black and white.
is get a proposal for a survey for the next council meeting
Mm-hmm.
of that area. For the
I
council,
personally would like to see that done.
Yeah.
and then, once we kind of have that, maybe it'd be easier to figure out.
Because I want to be fair to everybody.
Easements, we need the legals.
I understand where you're coming from, but we also have to protect ourselves, so like he said, we can get to the utilities that we need to get to too, so. I want to work with you on this.
We've done it before, we basically say it's an easement centered on a, water or sewer main X width, but. Saying I don't know the specifics, but it sounds like there's, nobody really knows what the property lines maybe are too, or is it a case where it'd be good to get everything?
You got all that?
I know what the property lines are, the whole pin, Brendan, Randy's all surveying.
That's what I thought he said, yeah, so
So
you
it'd
do.
probably be fairly easy to put one together.
Randy's got all this, he's already done it for me.
Okay,
So we just need to see it. That's just-
I don't know the width,
The water and the storm sewer trail out, so we can
I don't know.
overlay that. That's storm sewer, by the way, there is no sanitary sewer up there anymore.
okay,
All them houses up there are on septic, so
okay,
from Palmer's, all that back in.
Oh, all of those are on.
Yeah, they're on septic, but
Yeah, we don't
it's
have
a
that.
storm sewer easement going down,
Line Street. Yeah,
so we would need to probably trail out that storm sewer because it goes down line into that private drive and makes a funny bend in there someplace. We need to trail that out so we know for
Mhm.
sure where that is, which would mean we need to bring someone in with some kind of a trailing equipment that we can put down and know for sure where it bends.
that makes sense.
And then Chad has located the water a few times. Yeah,
He has?
still there.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be easy to do.
That's helpful.
But the storm sewer would be the hard one to do to know for sure where it's at.
So then are they like Palmer and all them back in there, like Mark, they're all on water?
Yes, so you're on, no, you're not.
Oh, you're
I
not?
wouldn't hook us up, city wouldn't hook us up when they came by, so we had our own well.
Okay.
So you say you wanna work with us, but.
Okay, well, how long ago was that? I don't know. When did they do that?
Back in there someplace, but
I don't know which
I
one.
don't use that a lot.
Chad could tell you, but yeah, I honestly can't tell you who's on water. back
We
there.
don't have to provide sewer and water to.
Only if they have an issue and they're close enough, and then, if they have an issue, they can't replace it, they have to connect the city,
You're within 300 feet.
Yeah, 300 feet.
so.
Okay, I don't know this history on that, so
I'm way further away than 300 feet.
you're way further away.
If you're well.
Yeah, we have two then.
Oh, did it?
Oh,
How
wow,
far are you? If your well went bad?
We have two wells.
Oh, you have two wells, oh. Can I run a hose up to one with that?
Mark, is this 19, K, is that the current bid is that the current?
Yeah, that's the one that, China Glacier gave me for this year,
This year?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I tried in 14 to do it, and I had a bid for 10.6. Then I tried again in 17, it was 13.3. And the first time I offered to pay half of it, and they still said no.
Okay.
So that's why I'm bringing up that issue of the easements now, I want to get that fixed.
okay,
So I've tried several times to work with the city, and they just
okay,
don't want to do so.
well, we're saying we want to, so hopefully we can. Okay,
Sounds good.
okay.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to see all that engineering and stuff. I would hope that, we figure out some way to not charge Mr. Fink for figuring out where our water line and sewer lines and stuff are. I think that's our problem to figure out. And I also have been very vocal on the fact that I think that we should get this done and get the easement straightened out up there. So,
Because we don't know what the future holds up there, because if people can't and they have to start hooking on, that doesn't mean that we might not have to run a sanitary sewer somewhere through there, maybe.
It'd have to be force main back there.
That would really have to be, okay,
Yeah, that's all.
Individual station.
okay, gotcha.
If there has to be a sewer through there, it has to go across my other property.
Mm-hmm,
You're gonna go stop in a tangle over there's already a lift station, just has to be bigger.
gotcha, okay.
So.
Okay.
Yeah, it can be done, but it's gotta go across my property no matter how you do it.
Makes sense. Okay. All right, so do you have some direction on that then, Aaron? Or,
I think so. I think you would like me to get a proposal for surveying it for the next meeting.
Yeah,
or,
Yes.
and finding out where
but find out what's been done first, I guess.
My question to that is, how much money do you want to spend on surveying? I mean, is it something that I can give you an easement on the private drive and just, where it's at? Not spend a bunch of money, like you already have spent money to find all this out and already know the information.
I think if Randy's got most of it, it wouldn't be.
So it'd mean it'd be a matter of locating, knowing where the sewer and water is. So
Yeah, we do, we probably work with somebody who's different to do the trailing on the storm sewer.
I'd have to talk to Luke. I think we could shoot our camera up it and trail with our camera in the.
And you could probably just
Yeah.
have that. a Copper cable.
But that'd be nice to get the legal description of.
Yeah,
Just full cable with it.
because if we can expedite it, you know,
yeah.
because if everybody has all the information, we just gotta put the puzzle together, that makes
From
sense.
everything that I've understood about down Line Street, there was a 40-foot easement there. It's just in the wrong place.
It's in the wrong place.
It's totally on the south side of where it's supposed to be.
North side.
Yeah, north side, sorry, yeah, sorry, it's flipped up. I was just impressed that there was 40 feet, not 15.
Mhm,
So,
right.
I
Okay,
think what Mark's saying though is if you keep it simple, if you can verify that the utilities fall within the corridor parallel to the property line, it'd be a very easy exhibit.
right.
Good.
We're all
We
for
like
that, we're all for that. Okay,
There's no sense spending more money than you already have to spend. You just
Right.
have to spend it.
right,
Spend $10,000.
I don't know what Ryan charged you guys, tell you what he told you last month, but I wasn't invited last month, so
oh, okay, it's always open, so you can always come anytime.
I understand, but.
Okay.
well, the big thing I
Sorry.
think that we have to know too is once we have this, we need to have those easements over top of what we have. Like, so no matter what, it's gonna, you're gonna have to have somebody come in there and put those easements in
Put
place.
the easements into place,
Because we
yeah.
have to work on whatever's in there, if we want to be able to be over top of what we have.
Bring it back for the next meeting.
Okay,
Great, thanks.
okay,
Thank you.
sounds good. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate all the history. Appreciate it. All right, anything, let's see, Anderson Street Reconstruction Project update. Is that
Sam,
Sam?
I think,
Floor?
Yeah,
I think the big thing to talk about was the.
Yeah, so we met with city staff Tuesday, the 24th. And went through, I had a bunch of questions up. One of the things that came up is.
Thank you, Mark.
If.
Thanks, Mark.
If the council would wanna change the road width 34 feet, what it currently is, where everything's currently sitting at 34 feet wide. Existing, the new road was planning on going back 34 feet, the council would wanna go down to 31 feet. So it'd be an estimated savings to basically make it 3 foot narrower would be $32,000, but. Then the question kind of came up, well, is that gonna, that'll affect parking, so it'd be one side parking. There's a park there, Guess if you guys have anything to add.
The alignment's goofy on Anderson Street also, if you stand on it and look up, there's actually two jogs.
Jogs,
Yeah, there's one at about Howard Street and there's
Mhm.
another one at Union. And we're just looking at the best way to try to somewhat straighten those up. We won't be able to make them perfect, but we'll be able to start back a lot further and hopefully make that adjustment so they're more gradual and look
Cleaner.
look a lot cleaner, yeah, than what we. And the
I'll
south
say,
side,
to elaborate more on the easement side of things. Currently, from East Main up to the north side of condos, so almost to Fayette on the east side. We would have a 2-foot easement, and then north of there to Butler would be a 4-foot permanent easement, and that would allow the bikeway, walkway, trail to be basically onto the property if you were 4 feet. And then have 4 foot of green space between curb and sidewalk. The west side would have a 2-foot strip easement, pretty much all the way up from East Main to Butler. And the sidewalk would have 4 foot of green space as well on that side from sidewalk to curb. So, I mean, if the question is, if even if the street's narrowed, if the council does want to narrow it to 31 feet, I would still recommend trying to get easements and just make that green space wider. If you try to eliminate easements, then that green space goes down to about 3.5 feet, and it's just not much room for snow. I mean, 4 foot is even narrow, but it's something. So yeah, the right of way does do some funky things up through there, and it's narrow, but it's currently cork and bottle, there's a 2-foot, basically a 2-foot easement on the east side, and the property owner on the northwest corner of Anderson and Main. There's a 2-foot strip easement for that one as well, so if you basically stand on the existing sidewalks on either side of the road. And you look straight up, the back of walks would basically stay as is, going all the way up through there, and then. Between Howard and Butler, sidewalk would go at back a curb for the condos. That location, otherwise everywhere else, there would be green space between sidewalk and curb.
So you're talking parking on the east side.
yeah, and with Sam, and we had a little discussion too about this, like, because you want to know what we do for snow. Or odd and even side, we still do it the same way for snow removal, it'd still be odd and even, but it'd just be one-sided parking. If we went to 31, it'd just be one-sided parking the rest of the time, but we'd still run off of. Odd even sided from, we'll say November 1st to April 1 or something like that, it would, so that way they would flip flop on sides of the road.
I just hated to cut down on parking available. for
Yeah, that's what we,
work.
it's like I said, it's kind of a tough. I get the savings of doing it the way we are, but I also have a little bit of reservation of narrowing it. The thing that we thought of is that if we did narrow it, maybe it would push some of that residential traffic that cuts off over to Stiles Street, you know, because Stiles is a wider thoroughfare that the people going up around the school instead of cutting Anderson Street. If it was kind of traffic calming and there was some vehicles on it, it would, you know, maybe force those people to go maybe over onto Stiles as opposed to even running up Anderson Street in residential.
Be less
I mean, that was a
traffic in front of the
thought,
park, which makes it a little safer
Yeah.
too.
but then on the other hand, you lose that on-street parking and there's a lot of single stall driveways up there that makes it a little tougher too. So it's kind of a,
And that's it, yeah, if traffic goes to Styles, are people still gonna, still go up Anderson and still use it?
it's a habit, you know, a lot of people just do it out of habit.
It is, and as bad a shape it's in right now, people use it,
People still use it.
so if they're gonna use it in
Right.
a really bad.
Yeah.
Shape, they're gonna use it even if it's narrow,
Mostly
so
can't.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, a lot of high school or cuts across there. I think Iowa Street gets the same thing. I think.
Yeah,
actually.
they do.
Yeah.
Iowa has more traffic. I
And
would
as
say.
bumpy as that is, they fly.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah,
You smooth up Anderson Street.
yeah, we smooth it up and it'll really
It'll
be,
really be,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, I think it can go either way, actually. It's not a huge, you say 30.
It was like $32,000, what we kind of estimated on a.
It's not a huge
$1.5
$1
million.
So it's not a huge savings.
I guess I'd like to keep it wide. I personally like the idea of being able to park on both sides. I want people to feel like they can park in their own neighborhood. I just would not like it if I couldn't park in front of my own home. And so I hate to do that to somebody
And keeping
else.
it wider will also kind of get them jags out of there a little bit.
So there is a slight offset at Howard, so basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna extend the PI, so instead of having us, you know, I think it's only like 1 or 2 feet at Howard, we're gonna basically taper that all the way back to Butler, so you won't notice that.
So you won't notice it.
The one at Howard, the one at Union, you're still gonna notice, but the length is gonna be about doubled.
Okay.
I can't remember.
We'll try to get every last bit of it the weekend, because it drives me nuts, those chugs do it.
So,
Well, I bet when you're moving snow. too,
Yeah,
it's
the
no
one
fun.
at Union Street's horrible.
Yeah.
Makes that,
Yeah, really big time.
the one at Howard, you don't notice nearly as bad, but.
yeah, the jog now, I think it's currently about 50 feet, we're gonna try to stretch it out to about 125 feet. It basically started on the north side of Pops 409, which is Joyce and Edmonds. So on the north side of that driveway, you kind of start the taper there, and then
Mhm.
kind of end where it currently is at the next driveway to the north. Which was a daycare, it's no longer a daycare.
Yeah.
This is pig, hopers.
Yeah.
So it's, that one's still gonna be navigable, but it will be better. But just, if we try to extend that one out like we did the one at Howard, in easement and everything just gets shifted a lot more to the east.
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
As it sits, that property, that last property there, Edmonds, we'll have to get more of an easement the way it is. We can only get another, 4 to 6 feet into their,
Right.
into their yard.
I'd rather keep it wider than narrowing it, just for the, I just know the traffic is not gonna shift over to Styles,
Yeah.
you know.
And this is an old neighborhood too, and so people have single stall garages, but they all have 2 cars.
Well, and you look at the little condos that are across from Ballin Park down there.
Yeah,
You know, some of the. It's changed ownership, but some of the people there now are starting to get older.
mhm.
They have family, and the problem is, I think if you shift everything parked in front of Ballin Park. Now you're gonna have grandkids trying to run across the road, whatever the case, I'm probably more apt to leave it wide, just for that purpose, just to have. Some parking or card club that they would have on Thursday or something like.
Yeah, I think we'd be safer leaving it wide too. That way you got parking right in front of the park.
Like this.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, cause there's only one parking lot there and that's over by the memorial
And it's small.
and it's small.
Mhm.
And then you look at the fact that people pulling out of them small driveways. I know my sister has all kinds of problems over at Liberty every time they right across from high school. Anything that's going on over there, she cannot get out of there for nothing.
Yeah.
So that just, knowing the problems that she goes through, I would hate to put that problem on somebody else.
Okay. So will that be an actual item then on the agenda on Monday? the
I don't know
7th?
if that only
Or
be an
just-
item.
It's 34 feet is what our original agreement was for, and basically, so we'll just basically keep proceeding as is.
Okay,
It
I
was
think
just
we were gonna
discussion.
narrow it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was mainly just discussion that, so everybody was on the same page of.
okay.
I do appreciate that being brought up though, cause I mean, some places this might work
Yeah,
type of
Yeah.
scenario where we can save a little bit of money.
I think the other thing Tim wanted to talk about with the council was this would be a special assessment project again. Just wanted to get direction from the council as far as continue with how we did the assessments last year. Do you want to continue doing special assessments? You know, just get some clarification on how you want to proceed with that part of the
I
project.
personally hate special assessments. I wish we never had them, but I understand that they're a necessary evil and I think we should continue with the way that we did the last project.
I agree.
I agree.
I think instead of changing every time, you have to be consistent, otherwise it's just not fair to people.
We battled pretty hard up here in this council for that last one. I feel like we met in the middle. We've made a lot of compromise there. I don't know that we need to rehash that this early on.
Okay, so we'll use the same formula as we did on East Main and. Is that what you need?
Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Any other further discussion on Anderson Street?
I think so, unless, I guess if the council has any questions about anything, say I think you guys have hard copies of the plans, Jason, Chad, Perry, and Tim. And we send them PDFs if you guys are curious about anything, feel free to reach out to them or reach out to us. If you have questions, we wanna look at anything more in depth or closer, but otherwise.
We're doing an alternate bid on that, both.
Yes, yep, so it'll be 6-inch thick concrete with integral curb and gutter, kind of like East Main, but we're gonna do an alternate bid with asphalt, so
Okay.
the alternate would be 4-inch thick asphalt with 2.5 curb and gutter.
And what's life expectancy on that? Asphalt,
15 years.
15.
But you can mill and overlay it. You know,
I tell you what, that Main Street's amazing. I love it.
New Street's done too, I don't know if you guys got. a
Yeah,
chance to
get
look
down
at
it, I was down it already, yeah.
I'll have to go ride that one tomorrow, I guess.
Pleasner did a great
Very
job.
nice job, huh? Yeah.
Too, they got in and did it quick and. But another thing, I guess, too, we can just update you on is we did do all the televising over there last week for these guys. And we'll just, we're even at that. The
Where-
sewer-
Anderson?
Yeah, Anderson, it's got a lot of, there's a lot of issues up there, so.
There's a couple areas they're still trying to figure out what
goes
going
where.
on, but
Mhm.
yeah, with the televising, they dye tested some last week too, but helped answer some questions, but.
I'm glad we have that camera. so that you-
Yeah, I mean, we're still learning on it, but it worked well.
I'm gonna meet with. Always, since they know where Edmonds and Bentley's two are both are. Oh, get that.
All right. Is that all on Anderson Street then? Okay. Thank you. We'll move on. There's a no parking request from St. Mary's. And thanks, we'll move here. There's a discussion. Is there somebody here from St. Mary's?
Well, we discussed that at the last meeting, and Jason, I think, has an updated.
Okay.
Met with Brian Jasper, and what they're looking for is kind of like how we do it up by, Lambert,
Lambert.
up in that area where it's, no parking, 7:30 AM to 4 PM, school days, I think is how it's signed, if I remember right. And that's what they're looking at is across the street, and I did mark the curbs up there, if anybody wants to look, there's 2 marks on the curb.
Oh, okay.
That was the distance that they're looking at, there's a couple white flags there. I think it's a crossing issue where the parents are dropping the kids out. There must be people lined up. Clear, I've never actually seen it with my own eyes, but I know.
They line up on both sides from time to time, and
Yeah.
it gets to be way worse than the elementary school ever was, but they're way more confined.
Yeah.
So,
And it's I don't know how long a stretch it is, maybe 100 yards or something like that, of what's marked there. And, but that's what I think they're looking at was when they pull the stop sign out there in front, they're just wanting some more space so they can see what's. I don't see a problem with it at all. I mean, if everybody else takes a look at it.
I went and looked at it, I think it would be fine doing that, I mean, protect the kids better.
Yeah. We just, like I said, we just signed it the same way, so the residents can still park there at night, they just have to be out of there by 7:30 in the morning.
Do most of them have parking off an alley in there?
Not really, cause that alley doesn't go all the way
I
through,
didn't think it. did.
Yeah. and it comes up from the west
Mhm.
to about the edge of where they wanna start it at, they could right along in there, which, so it doesn't do a
So it doesn't really help people with.
No. But, Ross is across the street. And there's another little red brick house that they had plenty of off-street parking, but I know it was a challenge, cause the one gal that's the janitor down there said she has a daughter that lives up the street, and she said the people park right to the edge of her driveway and they can't get in and out of their driveway. a lot of
It's
times.
past the library, it's past the
Yeah.
library, yeah.
Yeah.
And then is that hairdresser still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that, not in front, so she's
No,
not gonna
It
affect
wouldn't
her.
affect her at all. Really, the biggest ones that would affect in front of their house would be, Ross's. And like I said, there's another place to the east, and I can't think of who lives there. Tim Mesher used to live there. I can't think of who lives there now, but, and then a little blue house
Mhm.
just past the library. So I think there's about 3 residences there that have affect her.
Yeah, I mean, even like Ross, for instance, he parks everything up there, up on in his driveway.
Yeah.
So he's not parking on the street. I plowed snow for him for a little bit, he's family, so. And his driveway comes straight out at the very tail end. I actually pulled it up if you wanna look at it. Ross's driveway comes all the way straight down and catches at the very end, so it doesn't really affect him a whole
I
lot.
think it's the
He can just park
place,
on the other, to the east of his driveway.
Yeah. and I think it's the place just to the east of Ross.
Straight down,
Oh, okay, yeah.
that's Ross.
I think it might be
Okay,
a
so-
girl or something there.
So to show me the direction we're going then from his house.
So you would come out of this driveway
Yeah,
and
but
then
show
go
me
that direction.
It's that, okay, so the house beside it does have a driveway.
The only one that doesn't is this guy, that one stops right next to Ross to the west. he's gonna be the only person that's gonna
That
have,
would be affected really.
that would be really truly affected. Everybody else can come up that.
I think I
You can't
stopped
get in
it.
or out.
Yeah, I think I stopped it close enough where he'd have parking to the
Right.
west.
Woody, okay,
Yeah,
okay, I just wanna make sure that,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
and it's
it's-
only gonna be busy when school's
Right.
I know.
loading and unloading, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like right now, they can park right there. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
concern.
Right.
yeah. Okay. Any further questions for Jason? And this will
I'm
be,
not sure Aaron's gonna look into that too, as if that was if that's up.
Resolution, it might be a
Resolution.
resolution, I can't remember what we did when we notified Langford, so I'll look back at the history on that.
If it's not a resolution, then we would just need to give guidance, correct?
We'd probably still have you do a motion,
motion of some sort, yeah.
some sort of motion. Just to be,
But not tonight.
No, nothing tonight. Okay, anything else? Any other questions for Jason? All right, hearing none, proposed rental housing code ordinance, okay. In front of you, I had sent something to Jim Peters, the city attorney. I serve on several different other committees here in town, and one of them that, I was talking with, it's been some issues with bed bugs. And making sure that those are also addressed in some of our rental agreements. The infestation was, not to scare everybody, but it was getting a little out of hand there. I know they sent letters out to all of the different places that sell different clothing and stuff or secondhand stuff to make sure that they're treating their things before they're putting out for the public and stuff. And they were looking for some help also as far as on rental properties, when people are moving from one to the other, to make sure that they are taken care of as far as making sure the properties are properly taking care of the infestation before the next person moves in, because otherwise you're just, they're not like lice. They're not like anything else. And so I talked with Jim to find out if there is something out there about that, because our ordinance covered just about everything. Like if you had critters, but it didn't say anything about infestations or something like that. So he did look at some other communities and he brought this forth. Is he gonna be at the meeting, the next meeting? I know RJ.
you should
was
be
here.
at the
Okay.
next meeting.
So, this is just for you to read right now, and to look over and, we can address some more questions to them. And then I will actually ask our public health person to be at that meeting that night too, because she's the one who actually brought that to me to, see if we could help make that happen.
Yeah, and it was basically as simple as adding that section B to that where bed bug infestations, because it addressed already vermin and rodent infestations.
Mayor, I speak from doing deliveries all over the place, but I have also seen fleas.
Fleas is another infestation that you can address. Yeah.
Where we opened the door and saw them jumping, I'm like, nope, not going in there.
Yep, exactly.
So I don't know if that needs to be addressed
With
with
that,
this.
well, that might be covered under infestations. I don't know.
I mean, instead of specifying bed bugs, maybe we do insect
Insects,
infestations,
we could potentially, we can check with Jim about that.
including or.
I definitely would like to see us get super aggressive with this and like make it happen as fast as we can with the bed bugs. I've never dealt with bed bugs. I've only heard horror stories. Lucky for me to not ever have to deal with that, but I mean,
I think it wouldn't be bad to say specifically sanitary conditions and free of infestations such as bed bugs and fleas.
Oh,
So that
yeah,
you're-
yeah,
You're putting them both in there specifically,
right,
not,
and if there's anything else that,
not limited, and not
and
limited.
not, but not limited to,
Right.
but such as
right.
would give you,
Yeah.
it would get it in there as words that wouldn't
Mhm.
limit.
Is there any, I mean, there probably is, there's fines associated with it if you're not keeping your rental property up to code, isn't there?
It's,
Tim?
We've never fined anybody yet, but we could, yes. I know as far as bed bugs go, back in 19 when we passed the ordinance, the state didn't consider a bed bug a nuisance,
mhm,
so we couldn't do nothing with it.
right, right.
They don't necessarily.
Mhm. That's why I reached out to Jim to find out if there's anything we can do
that's, so, after my discussion with you, because I talked to Tim first, so,
I have a question.
yeah.
It is kind of hard for landlords, these people bring the bed bugs in with them.
I know.
And then they would get fined because the
Yeah.
people brought the bed bugs in.
Yeah, and they said the other thing is, well, this is the other thing that I didn't even think about until they told me is that, you know, they've had people, they've cleaned out somebody's house because of it and put the stuff on the street and they're waiting for Quasar to come pick it up and then people are out on the street confiscating the stuff that's supposed to be going in the trash and so they just took it to another
Big old
place.
cardboard piece right in front
Yeah,
of that bed
so
box.
I think there's something else that we need to go even further, that we make sure that when they are doing something like that, that we're in contact with police or whoever's taking the stuff, that they're right there taking it. It's not just being put out on the curb.
Right.
So, I mean, this is just one layer of it,
Right.
but there are special ways that you have to do. And we talked with Jim Shaw a lot about what he does and what he does with that. He was a wealth of information when we met with him. So anyway, but no, so this is,
Lasers, great to work.
Oh,
with on
yeah.
Lincoln Street with too.
Oh,
Like
were
they
they?
were adamant that stuff goes in the dumpster, nobody touches it.
Yep.
It's gone.
yep.
And they take it to the transfer station, which
Yeah.
is.
So I think public health has to make sure whoever's in charge of taking care of that stuff, if they're part of that as well, so. Anyway, so I just wanted to put this in front of you. Thank you, Erin, for getting this thing put together. We can talk with Jim and see if there's additions you want to make to that then that night.
I just have to say this because I loved it. We're sitting here discussing bed bugs and I look over and Bill's going.
He's scratching
I
his
saw
head.
it.
It does, well, it's,
Sorry, guys, because I'm doing the same thing. I'm going right.
We start talking about bed bugs, my whole body's itching right now, like.
well, you know, and it can even be private
So I'm
property
sorry.
owners, if they have something like that, if they're working with public health to get that stuff out of there, that we make sure that we're getting it out of there, so we're not spreading it to somebody else who is in a rental situation and takes it to those people, because that's not doing them a service either, so. Anyway, but this is one level of it, and we'll just keep kind of.
How soon could we be expecting to see this at, the council meeting to vote on?
I can have it on the next agenda for the council.
Ordinance,
It requires 3 readings.
but because of what it is, could we? speed
It's
it?
not a huge change, so I would say,
I think we could speed it up to at least
And
2.
then read 2 and 3 the second time.
yeah, I think at least have it at 2 meetings, just give people,
But do you want me to have the lady from public health come? to
Yes,
that meeting
please.
too?
Yes,
Okay,
please.
so
I think that would be beneficial.
I'll ask them to be here as well.
Yeah, it's just one of them things where if it's, if somebody owns property and has somebody renting it from them and it's not got up to decent living standards, I mean, we should be protecting them. a little
But
more.
we also want to make sure it's something that's easy for Tim to be able to manage too.
Right, right.
So that's the other,
Which I don't know how you manage that, Tim.
I know. Well, public health will know.
Yeah.
Well, I say, you won't call and fill out somebody's work complaint. When they don't tell you before you go in, you're in their house 15, 20 minutes, then they tell you.
Oh.
Yeah.
You guys did.
Yeah. No, anyway.
Well, when you have that big van next to your house and you hear that roar of that
Mhm.
heater for 2 days straight, like, why do you do it in one room?
Do
You
that
just
the
go to
whole-
another.
Yeah.
And then you,
Exactly.
and another, and another.
Is that how they get rid of them?
They gotta get it up to 150
degrees
degrees,
or
and that
something
kills
like that, yeah.
the bed bugs, but if you do it. You know, if you've got multiple apartments and you do it to one, they just go to the next.
Right.
You're driving them away, you know,
Most time apartment buildings are worse than
yeah.
a house that's rented out, because a house is one person, or one family. But
Right.
Apartment buildings, they
Got
will
multiples.
apartment, duplex.
But, I know.
So it's just like
Right
getting
next door.
sick in the barracks in the military, then perfect.
I listened to that truck roar a week straight, going from one apartment.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
Like
that-
that.
Actually, might be better than not hearing the truck.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. No.
Okay, anyway. All right, well, thank you for reviewing this and maybe tell him, I mean, are you guys okay with what Mary Ann said about changing the language?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he can just change that language. Do you want me to reach out to him on that since to help you out? No,
So I already got the order.
Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. All right. And then I'll reach out to her to see if she can be at the meeting on the 7th. Okay, next, engineering updates. Do you have anything else to add today, Steve?
Erin said that they got the check from the DOT for East Main, so that one's
Yay.
done, and all that's been cleared. That's pretty much all I have. Talked a little bit with Jason and, we're sort of kind of reviewing things on the stormwater study. And like I say, a main focal point is with the intersection of Madison and Butler. To kind of try to get that addressed as much as possible, as best we can, with the flooding when that happens, but. Other than that, unless there's any questions or anything else first.
Sure free. That's it.
Thanks.
All right, Jason.
We're continuing to work on the Grand Avenue Trail plans, so looking at January DOT letting. We are starting to, have some discussions about streetlights out there and, electrical, so we're starting to figure out some spacing out there. Tim would like to try and encourage the line to go underground once you get north of, where the bus barn is now at least. And, try and get some intersection lights, street lighting out there. Obviously, we'll make a recommendation, probably just talk to the fair and just let them know what's going on since they're neighbors there for the entire westerly portion of that property. But we're working on getting that going right now as well, trying to dovetail those together so that next year, we proceed, we can have both things ready to go at the same time.
Any further questions for Jason? That was easy. Okay, next one. We'll do Tim. I'll start with you today.
We're gonna have a whole lot, A1's coming along out there, they're pouring the floor, the shop, they're putting up all the offices in the building out there. RMC, I believe today's done digging their basement for their addition, they've been working on their infrastructure in the parking lot and everything.
Yeah, he said they had an Olympic-sized pool in there for a little while.
The big swing now, we got a big hole, so we can have
Yeah.
a pond there. Other than that, West is finishing up his last fourplex and the two garage units that are there. Got a house going in up the Clover subdivision. They want and hopefully out there. I hope this year, probably 2,000 so far this year.
Okay. Any questions? All right, Perry.
Well, the highlights would be the blower motor, the second blower motor that we had to send in for bearings. Finally came back after 7 weeks. I think the first one that went in took about 5 days. This one took 7 weeks, so we finally got it put back in and installed last week. So we're back up to full force on our blowers. It's UV month, July, and I'm waiting on the 4th shipment to come of unbroken bulbs. The last 3 have came broke, so still patiently waiting for some stuff from them. Anderson Street project, Jason was doing a little televising with our new camera that came in and discovered a sewer on Butler Street, east of Anderson Street, close to Reetz's and Young's house that is in really bad shape. So I'm working with Luke to do a spot lining repair of what, Jason, 12 to 15 feet somewhere in there.
I'd say.
That needs to get done ASAP, so we'll try to figure that out this week yet. I think Luke was gonna come down someday, and we're gonna pull that up so we can take a look at the film. The way it sounds, the new camera trailer is going very, very well. They've used it a bunch. I think everybody's finally getting the hang of it a little bit, so they're feeling a little more comfortable with it. Nothing crazy exciting.
Okay,
That
I have a question. Those bulbs that come in broken, are we charged for that? Or? That's good, should be.
I ordered 8. And the last order had, the very first order had 4 broken. So I ordered 8 and 12 came broken. So I've not been billed for anything yet, so.
I think they need to work in their packaging. or something.
Yeah.
They come from
Or bubble wrap.
New Jersey. I'm not, their packaging is actually fairly well, it's the
Kevlar?
commercial
people that handle them are a little.
Is it fragile on the inside?
If they would take fragile off, they would probably come under the.
That probably.
But- Oh, and one, we did have an exhaust fan on one of the buildings that, you know, everything out there, being it's a wastewater plant, has to have exhaust fans running continuously. So we did have a motor go out today. Aaron helped me get that ordered. It'll be here tomorrow, so we'll have that fixed this week. But
All right, any further questions for Perry? Okay, thank you, Perry. Ben, go to you.
Nothing really, new squad should be here either at the end of this week or next week already, so I'm already meeting and they've got a production, they're installing everything right now.
Okay.
And which one was that replacing?
The old K9. I still don't have an update on what we're gonna do with that.
Joe wants to buy it.
Joe, you're right. $100 in the handshake.
Yeah, it's not school, but it's anything they could use with their automotive.
Chad's reaching out and then we're also gonna get some bids, so I'll come back to the table once we kind of have an idea of what we want to do with it.
I didn't know if it was anything that they would want to just fiddle with because like,
We thought the same thing maybe with their auto type.
Right.
Or something.
Right.
Well, how many miles on that? The first engine and the second. Actually, on the body. Rare outfit, yeah. Oh.
They take scrap. Okay.
Well, we'll evaluate everything to see what we get. Do something.
We got 300 for ours. Did you? Yeah, we just got $300 for ours.
$100 a handshake, huh? Okay, we're at scrapyard. I just got loaded on.
Put your ball up there then.
They said that they will come get it. I mean, they told, we just took a vehicle there last week or 2 weeks ago, and they said they will come get someone depending on the situation, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got all the required equipment out of this
Mhm.
show right now, so.
Yeah. Anyway.
Denver Derby's in a week.
They have to keep
it might want to at least run though.
I don't know.
Easy target.
You take it up to
Yeah.
8th Street and Jeremy will have it running in 3 days.
And I still got the lights on. We had a flood mitigation plan. I said if we had to, we would just park that baby as a traffic stop, and if it gets swept away, it gets swept away.
I think you should go turn the sirens on and go to the demo. Put your helmet on and strap tight. You're a cop and you're in the demo.
We won't be in there long. That's an easy target.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Ben? All right, thank you, Ben. Doug?
I wasn't planning on talking about this. I think now is a good time since the earlier conversation with Tim Vick and about his salary, and I wholeheartedly agree. I think he's worth every penny, just to say that, but to piggyback off what you're saying about the department heads and so on. It's been an incredibly busy couple months for myself, my department, for JJ, and I've leaned really heavily on all these guys, everybody in the front desk, Aaron, even Aaron, for God's sakes, leaned heavily on her. But it's, you know, obviously a pay raise would be great, of course. We do what we do and we do it because we're good at it. It's who we are. But we also have a really, really good culture, and that's an important part of all of this. And I think, like, for instance, today was a really good example of how we all work together. For instance, I had a problem at the pool. I called Tim Himes this morning. He came and fixed it. I've talked with Jason probably 20 times in the last 2 weeks. Him and his crew have done an enormous amount of work for my stuff, my parts, taken away from his stuff. I talk with Perry all the time about the pool, about locates, you name it, anything that comes in. I called Ben about 2 hours ago with an issue with the pool. He and his crew solved it immediately. It was a very odd call, or a very odd one. I can probably talk about it here in a second, but Chad, if we have an issue, everybody's on the spot. We all work really well together. We're supported well, starts from the top, trickles down. So I just felt like today, the way the day went and the way this conversation was going, I just wanted to say, I don't do it very well and I don't do it very often, but I appreciate everybody's support and I love the fact that we can all work well together. So thank you for that. And then moving on here real quick. So the issue we had at the pool today was we had a kid was reported to have a gun at the pool. So we called police, they stopped by, it was a fake gun, but they handled it well, pool staff handled it really well, so kind of a different scenario, we're not used to seeing, we're not used to handling it, so I thank Ben and the staff, a lot, and that was literally at 3 o'clock, 3:30, so the pool vacuum is in, and it's awesome, so again, there's some more of the support. it's really cool. After we started up, I sent a video to Perry. I'm like, well, you gotta see this thing. It's awesome. It cleans really well, it moves really well.
So it's a good thing it
And
sucks.
and it was.
Is that what you're saying? It's a good thing
It totally sucks. And like I said, I got pictures where like what it looked like before, because we had gone 2.5, 3 weeks without vacuuming, and then one swipe, and it was nice. So it was really, really, timely and nice, especially as busy as we've been. And then Session 3 swim lessons, we're about halfway through swim lessons for the summer, so kind of a downhill slide, at least for lessons, but not quite of the pool season. We had motorcycle trials downtown on Saturday, out at Schramm Park on Sunday. I haven't gotten a full report numbers. Chris Albertson will give me numbers on that, riders and states and that sort of things. It's always a big event. And then going back to the disc golf course, we are maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks away from opening it up. Jason's guys have been working really hard to help get that up and running. So it's gonna be a really nice disc golf course. I've said it before, but as we went and laid it out and got it all out there, it's gonna be one that attracts people from around. Disc golf is a sport that people will travel to play. And this one is gonna be a really, really nice disc golf course. So I'm very happy with how it turned out. Despite the fact that I was previously bummed that we had to move it from behind the hospital, but it turned out to be really, really good. And then last thing, just to bring up for the red, white, Mew, we're gonna put together the big slip and slide to go down Terrell Park, so I think that'll be a really cool, thing, and then I think also the fire department's gonna help out with that, another.
And Tibbet, I believe you said it's gonna
Yep,
be done.
Tibbet, and of course, CJ will as well, so just another example of, departments and people working together, so I don't do it very often, but I need to say thank you, so.
Well, thank you, because we can't do it without all you guys either. It is much appreciated.
When do you run the vacuums?
That's exactly.
Deb, when do you?
When do you run the vacuum?
So we started off, we cannot, so here's the one thing with it is we cannot run it if there's any threat of rain. So we'll have to kind of strategically, to do it, but so it's got 2 modes. It's got go right away, or it's got 3-hour delay. So we run it on a 3-hour delay, which allows all the floaties, all the dust, all the stuff that's in the pool sinks to the bottom. Vacuum starts, it takes 1 hour to run. It gets the entire lap lane and deep end done in 1 hour. And it just zooms. Without getting too in depth, it runs across, runs back, finds where the middle point is, runs that way, runs back, finds where the middle part is, and then grid searches all around. So it gets it done in about an hour. It's slick, it's quick, it's a little bit more of a hassle getting it in and out, but that's what happens when you've got a bigger piece of machinery, and it's pretty cool, it really is, so we will run it probably 2 to 3 times a week. We'll run at night, runs for an hour, probably, typically it'll probably run at about 11 PM, because we'll start it on the 3-hour delay at 8 PM when we close, and then morning, whoever's working the morning lap swim will come take it out, clean it out.
Would there be any way we could maybe on like a Saturday night or something, run it maybe a little sooner? I'd like to watch it run.
Anytime, yeah. I mean, this one can run while people are in the pool. There's no like electrocution shock or anything like that, but we're not going to do that. But if you couldn't make it on off hours, we could pop it in on a slow time or in the morning or something and just show it to you. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of fun to watch.
And as far as the disc golf, I've had the ability to travel to some places where they had disc golf, like up in Montauk, and there's a resort up there. It's got a ski resort, and they do bow fest up there. Well, anyway, I didn't think disc golf was cool at all. I really still don't think it's cool, but they've got a following.
Yeah, it does.
So I kind of compare them to the Iowa Hawkeyes. They're not that great, but a lot of people follow them.
No, that wasn't necessary. When he started telling me that too, I'm like, are you serious?
Oh, I did.
These people come from that far.
Right.
Yeah, they travel. They do.
Well, then they do. And there's people that just absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Kale watches it on like YouTube. They have tournaments all over the place. There's some kid from Des Moines or Ankeny schools that is like really good. He's winning a bunch of tournaments right now.
The other thing that I was kind of thinking about too was with the dog park right there. Mom and dad take the dog to the park and the kid says, I want to go play frisbee golf. And it's right there.
Yeah.
That down there by the brush dump, or hey, I gotta go shovel a bunch of compost into the truck and the kid goes play a quick round.
Yeah.
Cause it's gonna take me not long to shovel it all in there by hand,
Couple quick things on that too is, Nick LaRosa did the distance, he shot the distance of the holes. Our shortest hole is almost as long as the longest hole in the old one was, or at least the second longest hole. We did have one long hole. But there's a lot more distance, in general, there was just a lot more space. It's kind of it's kind of just a neat course, so I think people were really it. And then, I walked, so I got with Chris Halverson from the trials last week, and he is a big, he's a big bike rider, he's obviously does the motorcycle trials. He has been, I was showing him the paths, the nature paths that we have at where the disc golf course is. We have the nature trail that goes back through there and by the dog park. And so we cut some paths, some bigger paths to make the holes, and he has spent quite a few hours weed eating trails throughout that back area where he rides his bike. And so he spent 10 hours weed eating one day, and it's a path that goes, and nobody really knows about it, because it's just a single wide trail. I said Perry's probably the only one who knows it.
Oh, does it?
Where at?
That quarter grease.
You have to go across the dry run.
And he comes across the dryer.
I walked it. It didn't go well, where we walked did not go across there, so that might be possible.
Property.
Oh, okay, so then, yeah, so steer back a little bit, but, so there's potential to make, or to hopefully have it just kind of develop where it can be hiking or biking, low maintenance trails and so on. And we were kind of chit chatting about, a way to kind of maybe make it work would be to maybe do like a community hike event or something like that. Get people out there and ride it or walk it. And then the same thing was on the other side of the road, the north side of the plant, where the house used to be, and there's the sewer easement. So we tried that years and years ago, back when we made the original nature trail. And Travis Hump had carved the path, but it just didn't get used enough, and it didn't get, cared for, and it grew back up. So not saying we will or we won't, but it's just something that in that area is kind of starting to have some activity and some options that would be fairly low maintenance and free outdoor recreation activities, so.
Yeah, some people just wanna go for a walk on more than just a trail.
Yeah.
I know my other half likes doing it in the timber and climbing up all these hills and stuff. I'm getting too old for that, but the flat trail back there.
Yeah, it's flat, yeah, and it's like I said, it's one of those things, it's not for everybody, but it's definitely, there's only so many places in town that have wooded areas or
Right.
nature areas. We don't, especially city owned, so we don't really have too many other options or locations where we could do it at. And that's definitely one of them now, that's kind of seeing some
Opportunities
disc golf
ahead of
and
us.
dog park.
Opportunities ahead of us, yeah.
And for a chunk of land down there, to be honest, what were we gonna ever do with it?
No, yeah,
So we turned rags to riches, so I said,
yep, exactly.
it's getting exciting down there.
All right, any other questions for Doug? All right, Jason.
I'm with Doug, like, I think he couldn't have said it any better. The group that we have it's amazing, and I know I don't thank my guys enough. But we have a good group around here, and, I say that for Tim too. He's well worth it. He takes a lot of bullets for us, no doubt about it, before it ever gets to us. So, that being said, we've been helping Doug out some on that frisbee golf. Let's see, got some painting done over here on Main Street. That'll probably go to the side for now. We're doing some mowing and sweeping through town this week. That's kind of our big highlights, I guess, right now. We got some work to do out of Strand Park to fix the trail up out there from the high water and stuff for heavy water, but that's the big things that we got going right now. I kind of put the brakes on Hansel Street. That's still on the radar, but we got the patches sawed and kind of wait for a little bit cooler weather now. Right, get some of these other things tied up. Fair next week. It's gonna kind of we're in that spot right now where vacation time and stuff with guys and that kind of stuff too, so.
Do we have all of Main Street painted yet?
No. Well, the state has been through with their part of it, and we have, everything painted west of the bridge. So basically we have east of the bridge and then up Highway 13, and then we're done with the agreement with the state on the agreement that we have with them.
What about East Main Street?
East Main is done from, yeah, Olympia is yellow.
Center lines though, or are we gonna do the center line?
We're gonna try it without, and just do it as an urban cross section out there, do it the same way as what we did further out to the east, we just do the turning lanes. So it meets the standard and everything, and it's pretty, I mean, it's pretty evident what it is, so.
I know people have asked me.
Yeah.
Are they gonna paint the line?
The center
That's
line,
what I had somebody actually ask me too if. there was-
we went away from it when we did further out east, we used to center hash that too, we've never had any issues, cause it's more of an urban type of cross section. And then, so we're gonna try it without, and then if it gets to be a problem, we can always throw them back in, it's not a big deal. It's on three-way in, but
It's kind of a place you save a little bit of money, I mean.
yeah, it's not a big deal, but it's just
No.
another thing, and
Right.
we've added a lot of painting, so it's just one thing, if we can get rid of something, we can. So, but yeah, everything other than yellow on Main Street from the four corners east, other than yellow lines, everything's painted back in on that project, so. Yeah,
Camera trailer, is everybody being taught on that? Is who
so
specifically runs it?
Scott Domeyer and Greg Balls and Tyler's been over there some, Matt,
That's been,
yeah, so we're kind of starting to work everybody, I mean, if they don't run it a lot, it's hard to,
Right.
I'm just saying, what's the cost of it? I
Yeah.
hate to see it crash or
Yeah.
whatever. you know, Because,
yeah,
let's get experienced people running it.
yeah,
it's pretty user friendly.
yeah,
If you see it out, somebody to stop,
yeah,
I'd be glad to show it to you.
yeah.
It's real user friendly.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions for Jason? Thank you, Jason. And Allison, I told her she could actually go first tonight, and she goes, well, I'm gonna be here the whole time, so I can go last. So,
So I did receive an updated, estimate for both the boilers and the one replacement that we have for the air conditioning unit. Before it goes on anything for you guys to approve, I wanted to send the rebate form, the pre-approval rebate form to Black Hills, so that was done today. I don't know how long it will take to hear back from them. She's been very responsive, but it's not her that's looking at the rebate, she'll send it to somebody else.
right,
So, this work will be done this summer or fall, before the boilers are needed again. The air conditioning is holding on. But it's more than half of what we estimated the cost would be.
Right.
So I'm feeling really good about that. And the other one is less too than what we estimated for the boilers as well. So we're getting set with that. I'm working with Tim Himes a little bit. We may have maybe a little gutter clog up in our roof. And so he's going to
climb the ladder and.
climb a ladder, and or if we need, we'll get a lift from Palmer if we have to. He said he would try it out.
Well, the fire department for a page, they'll probably buzz over there. Love
Hey,
it.
you could probably use
The
the
ladder truck.
ladder truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm up for anything that helps get this, because I definitely don't want any water in the basement.
Right.
So, I don't know if that would ever get to that point, but I have noticed after the heavy rains, our mulch on the east side, or the west side is out in the parking lot, yeah. And so the first one I just thought, oh, this is just because it was like a tsunami, it's just crazy. So anyway, he's gonna look at that probably this week yet, see if we can get, kind of looked at so we don't get any more water, we don't get any water in the basement. Summer reading is going really well. We've had great attendance with programs. Tomorrow we have Mario Kart Day, and I get a thing for registrations every night. I haven't got anything today yet, but out of our 35 placements that we had, we only have 13 left. And so I know that we could probably fill that with people that just happen to come in. And they're half an hour chunks of time that 4 people can play, basically. It is, it's my Nintendo Switch from home, but it's just, we don't have one at the library, but people are very excited about it. So, Arctic Fusion stepped in a couple weeks ago and asked if they could do a fundraiser for us. So tomorrow, a portion of their proceeds and all of their tips will go to our gift and trust at the library, which they said it's usually around $200. So it would then be able to go in there and maybe we can use it for something specific, you know, when we're done with it, so. And then Jason, I have those cones in my car. Well, I was coming and I was like, oh, I'm coming, I'll just put them in there, and then I forgot about them until right now, so, when we were talking about that, so we had a outdoor activity last Friday, and we needed cones for to block off some of our parking lots so that we could do it, it was messy art with little kids, and the next one is going to be painting with water guns. So definitely we'll have to be outside. So we'll be asking for that again in July, but yeah, that'll be good, so. That's all I have.
Any other questions for Allison?
Did we get the flagpole
Like,
straightened
well
out,
done.
fixed up?
Yep, it's been done for a couple weeks now, I think, yeah.
I try to make rounds and be able to catch up on the times, but.
It took a minute because he started on a Friday afternoon. And then it was like the whole weekend, of course, it sat, and then, he came back, but it took him a long time to get that old one dug out.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of work, for them. And then once they got that, then it wasn't terrible to do the rest of it. It takes time for then the cement to be ready to put the whole pole on. He just had the base on for a while. And so, but yeah, it's up and ready to go, so.
Perfect.
Yeah, if that were to go down, I think we should be worried about the rest of the city because that thing is in the ground and it's sturdy, heavy duty. We're gonna be good, so. Yep.
Great. Thank you, Allison.
Yeah.
All right, Erin, do you have anything?
Just one quick thing. The council will get paid on July 18th. So you will be getting an email. I'll try and get that out this week from ADP. That is not junk email. You'll need to set up an account, and that's where you'll see your pay stubs. You'll also be able to get your W-2 from that, or W-2 you get from the year. But that is what that email is, and it'll say City of Manchester, but there's so much spam people get anymore. I just want to make you aware. Yeah, would you like it to come to your home emails? Is that the email that you would most likely use to log into it? So,
Yeah.
Okay, I will send it to those emails then.
I already set mine up.
You did, but this will be the first time the council is getting paid under ADP, so.
Okay.
If you have questions or need help, just let me know.
Yeah, just let me know which one you're sending it to, I don't care. either.
Okay.
All right. Any questions for Erin? Oh, okay, Brian?
No, I don't.
Okay, Linda?
I have nothing tonight.
Okay, Marianne?
I'm excited about Friday.
Yeah, Friday will be fun.
So if you can come, bring your families, bring everybody else, we'd appreciate it. I want to have a good crowd, and I'm really looking forward to that. I think it'll be a fun day, so.
Yeah, and I want to, especially when Doug said, what do you think about slip and slide? It's like, yes, what kid wouldn't want that? Especially older kids, they'll be,
Pool staff's pretty excited for it too.
are they? I bet.
They're gonna help work it, but I think they'll probably have a little fun too.
Yeah, so.
But
thank
once
you.
again, we appreciate you guys.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And, it's from 11 to 3. 11 to 3, and, kitty parade at 11:30, the city band is playing, which is a community band. And then Ben Engelken is running an open mic for anybody who wants to show off. If any of you guys can dance, sing, tell jokes.
What time did Ben do that?
Ben's gonna start after the community band, so I'm thinking probably close to 12-ish, probably. And then he'll play until 2:30 maybe. It'll be all over by 3. Adobo's food truck, M6 Sips, is that how you say it? Their lemonade thing, and then we've got Mima's Ice Cream will also be there, so.
I can go off and sing and then I'll deal with it.
We'll have to hold you to that, so the rest of the town can go to bed.
And don't forget about Thursday night walking Molly. You're gonna love them.
Yeah,
So they are really, really good. So anyway, okay. I didn't mean to take all that
No,
information.
thank you, I'm glad you said it.
Yeah. Anything else? Oh, okay. Joe,
When are our next council meetings?
July 7th is our next one, isn't it? Or 7th?
It'll be July 14th and 28th.
Oh, 14th.
So we're not gonna have one during the fair?
No, we
No.
moved this one so that we
Perfect,
wouldn't interfere with fair parade.
perfect. I, apparently can't learn my lesson in the middle of training to potentially race the fair race this year, so. Shoot, last time I was on the bike, it cost me 4 months of my life, so we'll see if we can straighten that one out, but, the only thing I got is, just been hearing a lot of things about East Main Street and seems like the community's pretty happy with that one.
Yeah.
Really excited for Anderson Street to get done and out of the way, so.
Keep moving forward. Bill?
Nothing really, just on the 14th, I should be back, but I have a daughter getting married in Colorado Springs, so
Congratulations.
my wife says we'll be home. I'm just doing what she tells me, plus I have 2 grandsons with me,
Yeah,
so.
that's okay.
What's that?
We understand.
Has anything happened on the side of your?
I was just
building?
gonna ask that. It looks beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
So yes, the mural is almost completed, and I believe Wednesday they're doing something with the Vitality
Yeah.
Committee is doing some up, probably up to the warehouse, so semi, but anyway, they're coming in, but the gentleman is actually really nice. He asked me if I knew somebody, and he gave me the name of Harper, and I went, oh,
Jeff?
she used to be her mom used to be the librarian here in town.
Oh,
Harper.
Wholesome.
Folsom. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, he had Harper as a student and, so yeah, I
She
tried
was
to give him a bunch
amazing
of
artist.
advice on, painting, but,
Yeah.
but.
I didn't listen.
He didn't listen to the thing I said. I said, we gotta throw something in there like a squirrel or a rabbit.
I mean, that came together like really fast.
I know he painted that whole wall, that whole side with a brush one day. And then that night he set up the projector, shined it from Palmer's, and then just drew out his main points.
Uh-huh.
And then started in the next morning and he didn't come down. He'd come down once in a while. We'd see him go through the store to use the bathroom or he'd hit our water cooler for cold water
It was
and back out he'd
lucky
go.
that day too. Wow.
So
Yeah.
he was incredible.
It's beautiful. So thank you for.
I don't think he's quite finished.
Like he had just a few finishing touches with it.
Yeah, I think he's got some stuff down below, like flowers and plants and stuff, but
Yeah.
I think he's got just that little bit lower level to finish up.
It's beautiful. Looks great.
It definitely looks a lot better now than it did about 2 weeks ago when I seen it. I was thinking about calling Tim and being like, hey, we got a city code violation over
I
here.
ran into problems. It started to rain so bad, they couldn't paint, So, oh, that's all I got.
Okay. I don't have anything else to add either, since we've talked about all that. So, enjoy your holiday, guys. Thank you for all you do. We appreciate it. And everybody keep cool and safe this holiday weekend. And I'll take a motion from Brian, second from Linda to adjourn, and we are adjourned.